first difference between a fellowship and an entry-level position, I would say, is definitely compensation. Fellowships, like other post-grad training programs, have an average salary of about $50,000. And again, that's pretty standard. But if you were to go into an entry-level position, your starting pay would be higher than $50,000. Now, after a couple of years, that usually balances out, but starting-wise, those are the stats. Now, within a fellowship, you're actually there within the program. You're there to be trained and to be given exposure to. So sometimes this could mean that you may land in better opportunities in terms of projects and work in a fellowship versus in an entry-level job. You have to remember that a fellowship is still a training program, and the purpose of you being there is to learn. So that will always be someone's first priority. But in a job, your priority is to first get the job done, then kind of add the training portions. And this factor really depends on the company you're working for. Some companies make a huge differentiation between what a fellow is exposed to versus others, and some companies don't have that distinction. So again, it really depends. Now, there are also many similarities in terms of the projects and the work. Depending on what entry-level role you get into, they can be very similar. Also, I would say overall, it's really dependent on what entry-level position you get, and you really have to analyze what that role is in comparison to a fellowship. Many times a fellowship is seen as 3 to 4 years of experience within the 1 to 2 years of your fellowship. But depending on what job you get, you could also get that type of experience in an entry-level position. So again, I think that the variables are definitely more variant within entry-level positions to understand where you would land, whereas there's kind of a set expectation within a fellowship to get a certain level of training and work. So overall, I think the main difference is just kind of there are expectations set around a fellowship that aren't there in an entry-level position. But honestly, overall, I think that the differences and similarities really depend on what role you're in, how you communicate what your goals are for that role, and of course, the work that you put in to actually grow. I think you can get as much exposure and experience in an entry-level role as you can in a fellowship and vice versa, but it just, again, depends on kind of how you utilize that opportunity.